if the person is not right in their goal setting, in their drive to passionately talk to, look at the game plan and have a written game plan, business plan, and giving them feedback, on a daily basis or on a weekly basis and monthly basis, then we will not be able to achieve success, right?
It's so true. And I mean, at the end of the day, we could dive into everything about the power of passive investing, about building wealth through real estate, about all the things that we know are really valuable. And at VonFinch Capital, we're doing that. We're closing tens of millions of dollars just in the last quarter alone of equity going into phenomenal real estate opportunities. And you guys can always find out more on our website about that. Yeah. But I think it actually starts with mindset first. And because when you can build that foundation, and I'm just going to encourage you guys to grab the Passive Investor Playbook so you can actually take this, follow along, and take some action on it. And you can grab that at investormindset.com/success. So you can just grab that, investormindset.com/success. You can download this whole great resource that we put together. But one of the second things that is so valuable that the most successful entrepreneurs and investors do, people who are living with the investor mindset, who are living and operating at the highest level, they're viewing challenges as opportunities. And what do I mean when I say that? What I mean is that at the core of what they believe when a challenge arises, they view it through the lens of an opportunity. What does that mean? It means problems equal profit. When there's a problem, it's an opportunity to create an income, an outcome that's going to drive you closer and towards what you want. What's a great example of that? When you're going to go, let's just break it down. Obviously, we're talking about multifamily apartments, but when you look at an apartment building and it's got units that are unrenovated, they're ugly, they're not well kept, the tenants are not happy in the property. That is a beautiful challenge. Now, some people would say, hey, well, I want my house that I live in to be all fixed up and nice, and I would never buy a house or a property that isn't like that. Well, no problem. Most people don't see challenges and opportunities. They don't see the profit that is potential below the surface if you find a way to solve it. So we, as operators and sponsors and syndicators and experts in our area, we're able to identify that this particular challenge is a problem that we can solve. And we go in and we solve that problem. We renovate the unit. We bring in better property management. We create a return for investors by doing so, all while making the life of that tenant better. And so in that challenge, we were actually able to turn that into something that is going to help us. And a great story, a great example of this is, Richard Branson. Richard Branson, we all know about Virgin and all of the amazing business that he's been able to build. But when he was flying, he ended up getting a flight was canceled and they were not treating customers very well. And he thought to himself, hey, let me solve this problem. But one of the biggest challenges that new airlines deal with when they're launching, one of the biggest risks that they can deal with why most do not succeed is that they have to commit to such a long-term lease or huge millions and billions of dollars to purchase the airplanes. So he saw this challenge that really wipes out most people from trying to start an airline. And he thought, well, hey, how can I solve this? How can I offset this challenge? And he saw the opportunity available. He was able to negotiate a deal with Boeing where if the company did not work out, within a short period of time, he'd be able to return those planes without owing any additional money. So that challenge that stopped most people from acting was exactly an opportunity for him to be able to get into the market and make big change happen.
So true what you just said, Stephen. And again, so true that many times we put fear of unknown, fear of making wrong decisions, definitely fear of not really finding time. I mean, a lot of time our life is filled with fears. I'm telling you. I mean, I have a plaque over here, live without fear, no fear. I mean, anybody who can just say, you know what, from this point forward, what's the worst thing can happen? It's the biggest thing is the paralysis of not deciding to moving in the right direction because of fear. And even if we are happy, I think one of the book I read, they said in life, you'll do okay if you make 51% better decisions than no decisions. Many times we actually don't even make decision until we are 100% sure. But I say in my books and all that, and my teaching, even if you're 75% correct, you have a much better chance of success than not making a decision and letting the opportunity go, right? So I think having no fear, what you just mentioned, is so important in life. What's the worst thing can happen is death. The second fear, I don't know, fear of height, a lot of people talk about it. Third fear people talk about is speaking in front of people, those kind of things. But these things can be overcome, not the death, but other two fears can be overcome, right? But let's just talk about
it absolutely can be overcome. And the truth is, even with the fear of death, you could be afraid that it's going to happen your entire life. Well, at some point you're going to die. The fear is doing nothing but holding you back and being an anchor. And frankly, so many people are fearful about taking action, making the change in their career, making that first investment, spending or investing into a coach to work with the right person. And that is a huge mistake, because that anchor is just keeping them in the status quo. They're focused more on certainty than they are on growth. They're focused more on that certainty of knowing what they already know than opening up the possibility and opportunity for them to grow and be able to live a better life. And at the core, my mission is to help inspire and impact, millions of people to live a better life. And I really believe one of the best tools to do that is through real estate. Whether or not you want to go and become an active operator, you want to be a guy like me or Vinney, you want to go buy big apartment buildings and really serve your clients and build a phenomenal business and invest millions of dollars and thousands of hours into being able to do this for your clients. Or whether you're somebody who's already creating massive amounts of impact within your own life, you've got side businesses, you've got your own business, and you're an earner, you're earning great income, and you can take that income and be able to passively invest it with experts like Vinney and myself, and with companies like VonFinch, and be able to put that money to work so that you can focus on doing what you're the best at. Regardless of what path that is, you can end up really changing your whole life direction by getting over that fear and taking action, and then stepping into the new known.
You're so right about it, Stephen. Again, what you just said is right, that you are helping so many people by investing passively or actively, because you're giving jobs, to the people who are our vendors. You're giving, the management, whole company, all their families, of course, investors with the cash flow so that they can have their lifestyle. You're helping so many people. Residents, we are helping so many great residents to live in the fine communities that you and I are buying and other people are buying and building. It's just overall win for everybody to make an impact in their lives, and that's the best thing. I if I may say that, I've been really talking a lot about 3 tsunamis, with all my interviews. One is the millennial, all the young people now, they're trying to get out of the place from their mom and dad's home, let's say, and buying homes if they can afford, or going to rent. So there is a pent-up demand over there. We are many millions of units short right there. The second one is the silver tsunami that I've been talking a lot about. That's where 10,000 baby boomers, the middle section, is turning 65 and getting to be in that retirement age. So they have a senior housing needs. And the third one is the immigration tsunami. Even though we think borders are closed, but that's not true. We got 1.5 million people coming each year into this country because the birth rate is so low, 1.6%, not 2.5 with the attrition and deaths and everything. So there is a pent-up demand in, investing and looking into real estate. That's one thing, right? The other thing I wanted to mention to ask you was actually, what are some principles you live by? If you don't mind, what are some values and principles, if you want to share some, with your success?
I'd love to share some. And what's amazing about some of these principles I'm going to share is that they've been learned from other successful people. Now, some have been developed, but I'm a real big believer of, being able to learn from others. So I encourage you guys, if any of these stick out to you, to run with them yourself. But before I do, I just want to add on that, we have a huge problem in the country today. And as real estate investors, operators, and developers, we are making a huge, massive difference because